Watcher, at last, someone who can answer my questions. They're saying there was an attack at the spire. I fear I'd sent you to your death. None of the Huana guards will tell us a thing, and Flaune's message is illegible. What happened? The Royal Deadfire Company. I didn't realize they were even aware of our efforts.
Your efforts atop the spire of the Soul Seers, you mean?
I suppose I needn't ask if you'd been reporting to your leadership.
If Atsura knew that I've hopped into that Adra with the captain twice now, he'd stick me in the infirmary.
I'm glad you're in one piece, Watcher. I'll have the details out to Flaune, I think. You've more than earned your reward, and my trust. Oh, and perhaps you'd consider stopping by Alvari's office. I believe she'll want some assurances as to the state of the spire.
Next time,
I can't decide if the gods must love or hate you, Watcher. Perhaps both. Volcanoes, giant waves. Mel, I've had my fill of this island. It involves no divinities, but I do have some news for you as well. I have decided to take action with regards to Castle's incompetence. I have called together a meeting of the Songreta Mia Compressa. Our esteemed investors have come to hear Director Castle's excuses for squandering their fortunes. You've witnessed Castle's mistakes personally, and you know what is at stake for us with Ukaizo. The council will want to hear from you, the Cantonucesi in particular. The company needs new leadership. Leadership that can make effective use of its most important allies. Let us start here, striking a fine impression before the wealthiest men and women in Eora. It's been a long time coming. You have simply lit the fuse, if you will. You will attend the trial, I hope. Your testimony is a vital part of the proceedings. Indeed. Come then. I'll send for our esteemed guests. Meet us upstairs when you are ready.
I see you have wasted little time in involving yourself, Lord. Director Castol, Governor Alvari, you are both here?
Indeed, Your Excellency.
Yes, Your Excellency.
And this is to be your witness?
A moment, Nero. Is that not Pelagina Mesray? Have we brought one exile to welcome the other?
Duke Remasi, Maestras and Mestres. I am here to assist in these proceedings, nothing more.
Most esteemed guests, this is the Watcher of Cad Nua.
We were sorry to hear of Cad Nui's fall, Lord. How interesting to find you here. You have my sympathies.
I have several connections in the White March. I have always wanted to meet the man behind the stories.
Let us begin, if the clerks will attend the roll. Albina Carnetto, Duke Remasi Storanzo Miscelona, the Archmage.
Devils take your role, Nero. This isn't the Songretta Ducala. We are all here. Let's get this over with.
Outsider law has more teeth than Ngati's pets, I say.
Wouldn't be a Valiant hearing if someone wasn't feeling combative.
They may not be violent, but these fine people are all ruthless in their own way. The roads they took to reach this room are littered with their enemies.
If this goes badly, at least there's enough wealth in this room to cover our funeral expenses several times over.
Very well. Then let me extend my sincerest thanks to our shareholders in attendance. In deference to present company, we will proceed in aedira. Director Castol, you stand accused of nothing less than gross incompetence, mismanaging of resources, willful deceit, grave charges all. We have examined the evidence available to us. The numbers are not in your favor, Director. But you will have the opportunity to explain yourself. Now, Alvari,
Agrasima, Your Excellency. Esteemed Council, I bear Maestro Castle no ill will. We have always treated one another with great respect, but his time is past. Company is bleeding resources. We have identified numerous sources of aedira, and yet, how much of it ever reaches the republics? The expedition to Pococahara was but the latest failure. Trained workers and supplies gone, and for nothing.
The loss of the expedition was out of my hands. In any enterprise, there is risk.
Some risk, Castor. The question is whether you have overreached.
I have more, Your Excellency. Your coin, lords and ladies. Where has it gone all this while? Not to mines and industry, no. The director has spent the bulk of it on frivolous experiments.
That is absurd. Animancy research has gotten us where we are today.
Precisely.
Enough, Alvari. Watcher, you have had some involvement in these experiments. Do you have anything to add?
Another risk, Castor? A watcher is a valuable resource. One better spent appraising aedira veins.
He's not a scent hound, Ramassi. Still, it is a shame. Power like that. It would have been something to see.
Director Castor, your orders were plain. To secure every aedira vein in the region by any means necessary. Witness, do you feel these orders have been carried out? Then Director Castor has failed to fulfill his obligations.
That was quick. Perhaps we can recess for supper.
A few moments longer. We have heard much of a Kaiser in recent days. I wonder, Director Castor, just what are your plans for the fabled city?
Kaizo holds an enormous quantity of luminous aedira. Our research has already yielded results. If we can establish an outpost there, then... If we take this opportunity, we can accomplish far more than we initially believed. I could make you rich, lords and ladies, beyond your wildest dreams.
You may be rich in a century or two. Have you that long to wait? Some of you perhaps, but all? dreams are all Castle has to offer. We have scores of Adra sites mapped to detail. Why not focus our efforts there? Castle risks your fortune on illusions.
That is true. We have mapped these deposits for years. The closer we travel to Andra's mortar, the denser the deposits. Even Alvari knows this.
Even if there is Adra past the mortar, let us grind down the whole of it and be done with the place. Or will the Songreta war against the natives and sea monsters for the next 100 years?
We have heard a great deal this day. Alvari, have you any final arguments?
Only this. That Director Castle has betrayed his station and our trust by allying himself with a Principe captain by the name of Furanti.
A Principe captain? You have evidence of this, Alvari? The word of a witness?
You cannot bring us Adra, so you ply an older trade, Castor.
That it isn't.
Or is it that you were trying to line your own pockets, Castor? Daring. More daring than I would have suspected.
No, my lord. I swear it.
I think we have heard enough. Any final words?
My lords, ladies, our enemies will make for Ukaizo in short order. The Valiant Trading Company must be ready. It needs decisive, effective leadership, now more than ever. With the Watcher's aid, we have the opportunity to claim an overwhelming victory. One that will carry us all into the history books.
Assuming he means to help us.
We will see, won't we?
You have heard all the accusations against you. Castal, any final words?
Everything I do to help the company. You know this. 2 years ago, you entrusted me to establish the luminous Adra trade. I will continue to serve you, dutifully, and to my best ability. I know now that Alvari has hungered after my position for years, just as she will hunt after yours if you allow her to rise. She would cast Margaret off her throne if she could.
It is time. Let us put the matter of Castor's dismissal to a vote. All in favor? We gave you a chance, Gaston. We made it clear what defiance would cost. You have squandered that opportunity. Perhaps you will have better luck in the living lands. Ignato Castol, I hereby pronounce you banished. Exiled from the Valian Trading Company and the Valian Republics by order of the Songreta Mea Compressa.
No! Wait! You Percamplanca! Don't do this! Mercy!
I believe that brings this meeting
Eothas
to a
will
close.
take what remains
watch.
of your soul.
Let us speak once the room clears, Watcher. I think we have much to talk about. Look at me. I am still sweating. You did well. Ah, very well. And then why should they question your motives? You and I were together in this. Let us seal the pact in coin. We move now with singular purpose and ensure the prosperity of the republics. Trade, coin, civilization, amico. That is what we give them with Ukaizo. And for us, our rightful place in the world. There is but one final distraction that must be seen to. A final obstacle. The Royal Deadfire Company. They will not stand idly by as we lay our claim. It is time to do something about that. I'm afraid that means your large friend here has more than overstayed her welcome.
And I have no plan on serving aboard a ship that betrays the cause. Captain, I'm a soldier. If you pit my needs against the needs of Rauatai, I'll lose every time. You did too. You do, too, Captain. But how do we get past this, Captain? You're awfully cute when it suits you. That's not a compliment. But Rauatai needs all hands on deck. And I won't just turn about on my career. Well, sometimes it takes more than a punch to make a dent. You should know that already, if what I've told you about is any indication. You were more than complicit in my activities, Captain. I seem to recall you handled yourself well enough. And I want you to get out of this in one piece, Captain. Eora is better when you're around, but I know I can't trust you. I knew this couldn't work. Knew I was fooling myself. I don't want anything to happen to you, Captain. I guess we're done with each other. Unless I happen to catch you in my sights.
Careful. Consider that we are talking about more than my own ambitions. You are poised to make a fortune, to leave your mark upon the Deadfire for centuries. And should you find the doubts begin to weigh upon your conscience, remember, you have nothing on us. I am the best friend you have left. Well, so be it. The Valiant Trading Company has no further need of you, Watcher.
That display at the Kahanga Palace was shameful to witness. Nothing less than proof of why mortals require capable rulership and a strong hand. When I walk among them again, chaos of that sort won't be tolerated. Authority and temperament are non-negotiable. She chose a complicated hour to show her enemies her teeth, but it might have been her only remaining chance. My siblings took a valiant swing at Aethys, but it seems our intervention will have to wait until we've had time to gather our strength. What of you, Watcher? Your bearing is set. The Dukaizo looms on the horizon. After everything you've seen, you believe mortals are equipped to take control of their destiny? Or do they need a firmer hand? I would grow a titan of my own before I allowed that to happen. You may depend on it. Find Aethys. Follow him to Ukaizo. And let my justice fill your sails. You may not believe me, but I was giddy with delight as I observed that shake-up in the Valian headquarters. Nothing excites me as thoroughly as a good trial. Clever Alvari relies on pragmatism and numbers. Under her leadership, I have higher hopes for the company's financial security, if nothing else. I'm skeptical that coin can navigate society toward anything but corruption. But I appreciate the merchant's willingness to challenge a failure of leadership. So, another of Nekataka's dirty secrets comes to light in a spectacularly dramatic fashion. You should think twice about your Huana friends if anyone pleads ignorance about the dragon beneath their streets. The dragon is not so easily hidden from the world, much less the eyes of royalty. See that you do. The Huana think the diminishing of their oldest talent is a test from the gods. They couldn't be more wrong. Everything they do is a test, and we observe closely. And yet, you allowed the beast to hunt the sky again. Was its freedom worth the price of an orderly, balanced society? Think on that. I did not expect the Wahaki to bend the knee to a Kahanga ruler. Perhaps changes are coming to the archipelago faster than I anticipated. This is a pleasing shift of fortunes. Submission to rightful authority is the only natural conclusion. when the alternative is war and death. I hope that is a lesson mortals remember. I'm beginning to question my trust in you, Watcher. This is a sacred community, and your conduct is beneath any acceptable standard. Even though you are living up to my admittedly low expectations of mortals, know that I am displeased, and that is a dangerous way to approach me. Take care with your words and actions. I am not in the habit of offering second chances. A fancy piece of construction. The Guardian is a safety measure against anyone or anything that leaped out of Ondra's mortar alive. We assumed mortal society would refine their sailing craft over time. That is why the Guardian, deathless and obedient, lingers to preserve the untouched silence of Ukaizo. The Guardian is a sacred vow, a promise kept, a vigil held without complaint or interruption. Once it was a dragon, 3 of them, in fact. We improved on nature's imperfect design, knitting together multitudes to become one efficient and dangerous foe. They were creatures sworn to a loyal partnership with the Huana. Such unions were not uncommon in those days. As long as the great Huana Empire stood to protect the islands, the tribes, and the luminous Adra, then the dragons stood with the Huana. That was but one covenant the Huana struck with a power greater than themselves. The others are not my stories to tell. Indeed. Crafting that beautiful menace was a challenge second only to the apotheosis itself. We were no strangers to hammering together animats, but the Guardian required a frame that could outlast harsh treatment, foul weather, and the relentless decay of time. All of it on an unprecedented scale. We installed behavioral safety measures as well. Were it to go mad with isolation, the Guardian cannot abandon its post or willingly end its own life. Only one member of the Apotheosis Project spoke out against the concept of an eternal enslaved Guardian. She was quietly reassigned to scan. A suitable punishment. For those of willful, insubordinate temperament, Scan was a convenient receptacle. Detractors, mutineers, would-be agitators. They were a perfect substrate for the foundational contours of what would grow to become Scan. Don't lose sleep over the garden. There were monsters before we bound them, and now they've been set to a more noble purpose. At its brightest hour, Ukaizo was the seat of an empire that dominated the continent. The Huana kings and queens might have expanded their control even further, but we put a stop to that. The Apotheosis Project needed two resources of uncompromising importance: luminous Adra and a multitude of souls. Ukaizo had both. Ukaizo is the Deadfire's true north. Even the Huana, who have long since forgotten Ukaizo's bearing, unconsciously turn to face it in prayer. The last emperor was fond of boasting that an army had never claimed Ukaizo by force. He was easily blinded by pride. Unfortunately, that didn't protect Ukaizo from deceivers within. We feasted and delighted the old ruler, winning his support long enough to activate our machines. From that moment, and up through the millennia that followed, Ukaizo has been ours. The city stands as a memorial to a different age. Its vacant buildings and flooded streets are a crown supporting but one jewel, the mechanism of reincarnation. Ukaizo is a city, a gravestone, a memory, and a machine. Within the Deadfire, yes, it was a calculated decision. The Huana Empire didn't conform to our idea of societal perfection, and neither did its trajectory. They came close, but some unfavorable habits were woven in the fabric of their culture. If the Huana wanted to prove us wrong, they were welcome to rise from the ashes of their past and embrace a future of our design. There's no point in mourning the bones of Den Kaiser. What's done is done.
Worika nods stiffly. You feel her presence drift as a breeze, rustling as it goes.
westerly wind. Heave away, my Landry boy, we're all bound to go. Come all hard-working sailor lads, come all strong lasses too. Heave away, my Landry, heave away. Be sure your boots and storm slicks are on, or I will drench you right through. Heave away, my Landry boy, we're all bound to go. Farewell to you, defiant spey, farewell to Hale Murdoch. Heave away, my Landry, heave away. If ever we'll return again, we'll make your cradles rock. Heave away, my Landry boy, we're all bound to go. There's some that's bound for Anshansea, and some that's bound for Mans. Heave away, my Landry, heave away. And some that's bound for Etat Bay, to teach them whales to dance. Heave away, my Landry boy, we're all bound to go.
My friend, you hide your face in a book while the beauty of the Deadfire passes you by.
A readied mind will be far more useful the next time we face dragons, cultists, or vampires.
You are ready to face death. What of life, I say?
If you had never experienced the pleasure in a good book, more's the pity.
This indignity will not go unanswered.
You were saying? You have my undivided attention, as always.
At your service. Eora, for what do I owe the pleasure?
Certainly. I'm here.
I've been loyal to you a long time, Ferrante, but I cannot abide this.
Over here, my friend.
Diverus, is it settled now? I do not like having my hand forced by some rogue god.
Indeed, the vote has been cast. There can be no dispute. The traitor Aldis will hang.
Your vote of confidence is appreciated, my Consuelo. Rest assured, you have made the right decision.
The Black Pox siege we have? What a fucking farce! Mark my words, councilman. Your souls will be damned for this scheme.
Do not forget your promise, Ferrante. With Eldis out of the way, you will sail us to Ukaizo, well before the Huana, the Valen Trading Company, or any others can plunder it.
The god will lead us there, and the floating hangman will navigate the storms. Watcher, your timing is impeccable as always. We have just concluded a vote of phenomenal importance.
Blast this! You can outvote me, but you can't make me stay and watch.
One of our Consuelo members, Captain Aldis, has been charged and found guilty of those crimes, punishable by death. Defiance. On several past occasions, Aldis has willfully dismissed the mandates of the Consuelo. Negligence. Too often, Aldis has outright neglected her responsibilities to the Consuelo. When a meeting is called, the presence of all members is required. Excessive cruelty. Aldis and her new bloods often commit extreme violence in pursuit of financial gain. This drives our foes to take harsher measures against us. Sedition, which you witnessed firsthand when Aldis negotiated with our enemies without the consent of the Consuelo. She has single-handedly endeavored to spark a civil war within the Principe on multiple occasions. And, worst of all, betrayal. Aldis sacrificed an entire crew of Principi in an ill-fated attempt to lure out the floating hangman so that she might captain it. This Consuelo session is now concluded. Watcher, might I have a word with you in confidence? What happened at Magran's teeth changes everything. We must acquire the floating hangman if we've any hope to reach Ukaizo before Eothas destroys everything. Which brings me to my current problem. Somehow, Aldis has uncovered a means to summon the floating hangman, but she is hunkered within her stronghold of Fort Deadlight. Myself and the others of the Consuelo must lay siege to get to her. However, you have a means of entry to the fortress. I need what she knows before I can hang her. Obtain it for me, and I will grant you her seat on the Consuelo. Sail to Fort Deadlight and seize the answers which Aldis has secreted for her own gain.
The elf. potential in you, Shoti.